People, what's happening? What's happening? What's up? What's up, my peoples? It's gonna be a quick video. Let's get into the scripture first. You see the title. Psalms 130, I believe it's 5. Was it 135? It says, whatsoever the Lord pleased that he did in heaven and in earth and in the seas and all these places, he caused the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth, and he made lightnings for rain. He brought the wind out of his treasures. For those of you who have not yet seen my video, which is he's got the whole world in his hands, please check it out. Please check it out. It's very specific about what it's talking about, and it's not, don't take it at surface value. Check out that video. If you haven't checked out that video, please check it out now. This scripture reading I just read from comes from Psalms 135, verses 6 to 7. All right, and let me just say it one more time. Whatever the Lord please, he does in heaven and on earth and the seas and in all deep places. He causes the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth, and he makes lightnings for the rain, and he brings the wind out of his treasures. And God's in control of everything, of course. And so the song, he's got the whole world in his hands, has to say that, but it's saying it in a very specific way. So check it out. Look for the answer. It comes at the end of the video. You may want to watch the video again to see what I'm talking about. You might want to watch it a second time to see deeper truths inside of the video. So shout out to you guys. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? And the people in the chat section. Nobody in the chat section. I thought somebody was in the chat section. Shout out to you guys anyway. We're going to get into the video. You see the DCEU Realism Part 2 and much, much more. Just before I go into that, let me just say one more thing. Donald Trump, when they implemented this policy on putting children in cages and stuff, separation and stuff, people saying Barack Obama's administration did that. No, Barack Obama's administration did not do that. Okay, there were some children that ended up in detainment places, and not the amounts and the quantities that we see now. And it was not because they were separated from parents. They're actually because they needed a place to stay and sleep, because they came on their own, because their families were killed in the process of crossing the border. All right. Or some of them got separated from their families, and Border Patrol picked them up. So it's a totally different situation. And for those people trying to throw that in the face, what is the gall you people have? Don't you have any humanity in you, man? Have some humanity in you. Okay, what Donald Trump is doing is what the Nazis did to the Jews in concentration camps, is what happened to the slaves with their families when they had the slave trade. Okay, what happened in the 1960s when the people from the Black Power movement were separated from their families, incarcerated in prisons. Okay, so that sort of crazy shit that's going on is what we call the actions of people who want to create concentration camps. That's some crazy shit, right? Which Barack Obama and his administration didn't have any part of. All right. Now, there may have been some other things that were going on which were wrong, that were happening under the Obama administration with children, in terms of who they got into custody with, family members or people pretending to be family members. That's a totally different story. But when it comes to the government taking policies to separate people from their families that Jeff Sessions spoke about, that has never happened before. All right. And those are racist policies. And the fact that these people are trying to trivialize it means that their minds are callous and heartless. And it's racism. And I saw Twitter light up on that. I'm talking about white something. I can't remember what it was. White extinction or some stuff. That was the topic. And these people are building policies to try and preserve white privilege from the fastly growing minorities that are growing, and it will become majorities very soon. This is the reaction to that. Barack Obama becoming president of the United States foreshadowed what would happen in the future, and these people are resisting it because they want to have their privilege and power and have things run the way they would usually run. And it's not poor people. It's rich elitism. They want things to stay that way in the dark ages. So just how you had separation of church and state to protect you against church manipulating the system, now you have to have some other law in place to stop people who want to oppress other people to keep the system the way it is. So just think about that. All right, folks. We must not tolerate these things. We must speak out about them and we must act on them. Let's get to what I want to talk about, which has to do with the DCEU. The same kind of attitude where the people try to eliminate the DCEU and we have to defend it. But the difference is we're not telling people not to come through and check out DCU stuff. And we're not telling people not to watch MCU stuff. You know, we're not trying to destroy something to keep all things going. But this is what Donald Trump is doing. This is what some of the people in the MCU were doing. You know, supporters and fans trying to destroy the DCU to promote the MCU. That's not right. Don't do that. All right, let's get to it. Screen share, double cross. Here we go. So first thing I want to talk about is the claim that DC action scenes aren't very good. And like I said, the Batman warehouse scene is just off the cheesy. And I just compared it with Iron Man when he faced Bucky and Captain America. Both have some interesting action sequences, but obviously Batman warehouse scene is on par with that, if not better than it. And my point being, you can't say DC action scenes aren't good and it's on par or better than the MCU scenes. That's all I'm saying. That was the point of the video. I wasn't putting down the MCU to bring up the DCU. I was showing visually what you were seeing. So you can't say that. As I said before, this video is on realism. So if you look at this picture right now in front of you, it's a GIF. These are two GIFs. You see here the military of the German military in World War I charging towards the Amazons, which are coming at them. And this is a very real scene. It doesn't look like CGI at all. It looks like it's a real place. And these people are really having it. It's a mixture of CGI and real stuff. There is CG for the mountainsides, pieces of the mountainside. There's CG for the sea. There's CG for the sky. But it's integrated with the actual sea, the actual beach, the actual sky, the actual mountainside. That's how the DCEU is able to make seamless imagery. It's not the best resolution in the world because it's film. So there is some, you know, film has graininess to it. And so you don't tell me that the CG is great because the resolution is great. Don't tell me that kind of crap. All right. I remember a guy trying to argue with me that the Hulk CG is better than Steppenwolf CG. I'm like, dude, don't even try. You know, that's he's talking about, you know, elaborations and CG. I was like, dude, don't even try. It's obvious it is not. All right, let's talk about realism. So the first thing we notice is that in Batman v Superman, I have lots of examples. So I'm going to try and go one at a time. In Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, we saw the Capitol building, the east wing of the Capitol building. And if you look here, this is the central piece of the building. This is the northern end where the Senate is. So this is the Senate end. The southern end would be down that way, which would be where Congress, where the House of Representatives is, the lower house. All right. And if you look at the actual Capitol building, I don't know if this is a replication, maybe a CG replication or actual, maybe pieces with props. I don't know. But what I do know is this is the actual Capitol building. And you can see this is from our world. So basically, this is our world you're looking at. And okay, I'm just showing you the Senate part of the Capitol building, the crown area, and then the south area. All right, this is the east wing. Nicely. Oh, that's nice and big. So here you can see this is the Capitol building. This is the northern end. This is the southern end. This is the eastern end. Okay, so Superman was ascending here on this end here, and you see it. And it's nice that they have this similar angle as well of the Capitol building. You know. So he entered up into these steps here into the Senate building. And he didn't just go into the Senate area. No. He went into a room where they were having congressional hearings in the Senate building. So here he is landing down there, and he's going to go inside the building. This could be real. This is blurred because we are actually have motion picture. I doubt they would have it in Washington, D.C. I believe this is a replica. There's some props. I don't think they had access to Washington, D.C. to do this. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it's our world you're looking at here. No doubt about it. And if you look at all the other comic book movies you've seen, you don't see literally our artifacts from our world. There's always fictitious places and things. There's little pieces where they actually use actual things like cars and stuff like that. But it's usually a fictitious world that they build it on. But this is our world they build it on. Again, the airplane that we saw in Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice was as an actual airplane that actually flies for Turkish Airlines. Okay, it's known as TCJNZ. It's the Airbus A330 to 303. This is it here. Let me zoom in so you guys can have a better look at it. All right, here it is. So this is the Airbus here, and you can see printed on it TCJNZ, TCJNZ. Okay, and down below here it says Airbus, and it has the Turkish Airlines symbol right there, Airbus, and then you can't really see the numbers, but 330 to 303. I was able to ID this. What's amazing is if you look here, you see TCJMZ right there. You can see Airbus, and this is 330, 303. This is the actual Airbus. I was able to isolate it, find it. This is an actual airport, it seems, because the background is fictitious. And I find this just so awesome that I actually could have gotten this Airbus, this particular Airbus, which actually does flights. So again, our world, yes, this metropolis, which is a fictitious city built upon, I believe it's Detroit, it's built upon. And then you have Gotham, which is built on, I don't know where. But at the end of the day, yes, those are fictitious cities. There's certain fictitious people like Senator Finch, etc. But it's real world settings, literally things used in the real world they use and integrate into this mythical world. And that's what gives the realism. So in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, Diana boards Turkish Airlines JNZ Airbus A330 to 303, more than likely bound for France or the UK, because that's part of its route, their destinations. And interestingly, the interesting thing is, again, the actual plane and not a fictional one is in this movie, adding to the realism. So if you look at, you know, comic book movies or whatever, you're going to see fictional planes. You're going to see fictional airlines. You know, go and check it out. Verify what I'm saying. Okay. They may have some military things, and even so, they don't really use, they sometimes use military pilots. They do. But for the most part, it's always a fictional military, some special secret branch or something. You look at the, if you look at Winter Soldier, the airplanes that were flying in the sky, it was a fictional, first of all, it was a fictional setting with the planes. Then it was a fictional Secretary General of State. And the setup was fictional. It was futuristic, but fictional. It wasn't mirroring our world and what's happening in our world and how they communicate in our world. That's why the Winter Soldier has some realism in it, but it's not grounded like the DCEU. See what I'm saying? It's all these sort of espionage, kind of James Bondish like things where you have this underground secret society, secret world. So now you can call it whatever you want to call it. And the buildings and stuff, you can call them whatever you want to call them, because it's a fictional world. Yes, you got some real world cars, like the cars that you see in the world. They're Chryslers or whatever, and those are real world stuff. But when it comes to the administration, how the political system is, how the people are governed, the news system, etc. Very rarely do you see things from our world there, and they're not functioning like how our world is. They're not even covering news the way how, and that's the point I'm talking about with realism. In Batman v Superman, it's a real Turkish Airlines plane. It's a real Turkish Airlines steward. You know, these are real things. You see Anderson Cooper doing the news, and it's not just Anderson Cooper. It's a whole bunch of people from our world that's in this movie, and that's telling me it's not, like Zack Snyder said, it's not about going into a fictional world or creating a fictional world. It is about bringing that fictional people from that world, maybe fictional names, into our world. It's really happening in our world. That's what they're trying to do. That's the different perspective. And I really appreciate it. Now, I've listened to some people say, well, I love both movies. I said, you may love both movies. You may love MCU and DCU, but you got to know what the DCU is doing and what the MCU is doing. And you must be able to differentiate between the two. And the DCEU is not approaching from a fantastical point of view. They're taking mythical or fantastical characters and putting them into our world. Yes, Kansas, you would say, okay, Kansas is a fictional, not Kansas, Metropolis is a fictional city, and Gotham is a fictional, and Midway City is a fictional, yes, but they are recognizable as our cities, our worlds. Our businesses are in there. Our vehicles are in there. The planes that come are our planes from our companies are there. The transport systems, like the helicopters, the newspapers that are there, we see news from our world in there. We see people from our world represented in there. We see companies and businesses from our world in those places. It's almost like it's an extension of our world. They may be fictional city, but the things we recognize from our world are there. So therefore, it's an extension of our world. You get what I'm saying? And so throughout the DCEU. The DC is built on our world, but these fictional characters and some of their fictional alliances and things associated with them being placed into our world. That's what Zack Snyder did. All right, let's keep it moving. So that's just one of the. Of course, we had the Apache helicopters that Anderson Cooper was speaking about, and you can see them here. The Apache. They're kind of a little blurry because there's again the special effects where they have the afterburners from the helicopters. You see them there. And there's another helicopter here. Another one a little bit further out. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. Maybe you see it a little better that way. Hold on, it's a little fuzzy. I can get it too. There you go. That's nice and sharp now. Right, so now you can see the helicopters there. You can see the helicopter here, another one there, this one here. A light on the helicopter. All right. And they make CG with real world stuff. For instance, the cities are not real, but yes, the helicopters are actually flying, and they mixed it in with CG. So you see real Apache military are using the confrontation with Doomsday in downtown Metropolis, as announced by a real CNN News anchor, Anderson Cooper. As the military were nearby at the Kryptonian ship, they were able to mobilize and come in with an early response. And here you see Doomsday here, again, well sculpted. Look at this. It looks like a fully formed structure. You know, I love that CG, man. It's really nicely. It doesn't feel like this is CG at all. And then this here is the Apache helicopter here. There's one here, there's two here, and there's three. Can't see them perfectly. Can't see the perfect outline. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more so you can see them. There you go. Can't see it perfectly, but there they are. That's the beauty of Zack Snyder's stuff, man. I got more. And there's a difference. And like I said before, you have transport systems. Chopper Hopper is an actual company that does helicopter tours. And it's stationed in New York, maybe stationed other places in the world. You have two types of helicopters. They have the Bell 429, which is this one. And they have the EC-130, which is this one. You can see this is the Sheriff's EC-130. And the cool thing about that is this is an EC-130 you're looking at here. And so this is just so cool that you're seeing this. So when Lois Lane went down to see where Batman and Superman were fighting, she used an actual company that exists in the world today. Again, showing us it's our world. It's an extension of our world. In Man of Steel, I don't know if I shared this video. I probably didn't. The U.S. Coast Guard helicopter that was approaching the burning oil rig. By the way, the burning oil rig and the sea and everything you're seeing here is actually virtual. It's not real. The helicopter is. So awesome, isn't it? But anyway, the helicopter that approaches there. Hold on one second. I'm just going to go get something here. Okay, I should be okay. Yeah, the helicopter that approaches them. I'm going to be eating while I'm talking. It's an actual U.S. Coast Guard helicopter. And the actual number, 6011, I'll tell you which number of helicopter for the Coast Guard it is. It's actually on it. So again, this is an active duty Coast Guard helicopter that actually works. It was in Cape Cod. It was off the coast of Massachusetts, and it was also patrolling the waters of Hawaii as well. It's on the other side of the world. And he actually used it, and it was actually flying in BVS. And you can see, they actually had it off of the actual base. See the sea right there, water right there. So what they do is they mix real things with CG. You can't tell the difference between the two because they map off of the real thing. That's how they're able to do Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, BVS. Justice League, to a lesser extent, they didn't get it finished, so you can see the CG. Right? And I tell you all this to tell you how cool it is. The actual makeup helicopter is the Sikorsky HH-60J Jayhawk. So this is what it is. All right. I just zoomed in a little bit more. You guys can see it. Oh yeah, that's nice and clean. So actually, you have the name of the place they're patrolling, which is Cape Cod in this case. This is the number for U.S. Coast Guard. Identifying features. Here, got a closer look. Kodiak is the place. I don't know where that is. That's the fictional place they're using. There's the number, 611. Telling you that's an actual helicopter that actually was used by the Coast Guard. And you can see they're filming it on a site near to the sea, so they can be on active duty right after, if needs be. All right. I find this really, really cool. I want to share with you guys. Again, realism. See the actual rescue sign there. And on actual duty, they have it as well. Let me zoom in a little bit more. See the rescue sign right there? So this is the actual helicopter. Literally, the actual helicopter that you see here was used. Not a similar brand, not one like it. This helicopter is an active duty that patrols the waters. And it's the actual pilot and the actual guy who, the actual people talking there are actual people who actually man the helicopters. So that's crazy, isn't it? That's how real world they went with it. And you saw it when they came out of the movie. Even on the side of the movie, we had where on Google Maps where Batman's residence actually was. We saw Lexus's company, LexCorp. Remember, you can check out the Suicide Squad. Remember that stuff? So that's all makes you feel. It's not a movie, but it's more of a documentary of our world. You know? Okay, Wonder Woman. Like I said, a mixing of CGI and real world stuff. So it looks very organic and real. Doesn't look fake. This town here really does exist. Some of these mountains do exist as well. They're not as lush. The statue doesn't exist. But yet the whole thing feels real. Right?
I'm afraid this is goodbye.
Okay. Has to do with action scenes. So at the end of the day, what we call hyperrealism makes you believe that the thing you're seeing is real. because there are a lot of real things involved. It takes a lot of research and homework to be able to do these things. A lot of this stuff here is real, which is why it feels real. CGI is just to enhance it. You see? It gives the illusion that this world exists. You see? There was no burning building. As you clearly can see here. Right? They added all that in. I got that. Oh. I wish that level of detail was in Justice League. This is why I want them to still release the Snyder Cut. And if Zack needs the money to complete it, should complete it. So what do you guys have to say in the chat section? Let's see. Hold on a second. Eating some stuff. Okay. Well, you guys got nothing to say. You're just watching. That's cool. Well, that's all I got for today. Looking forward to Comic-Con. Normally people don't talk and eat, but I do all kinds of crazy stuff. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a good one. I'm out of here. Peace to you guys. Have a good one.